Welcome to the fourth session of our course of performance evaluation and management. Uh, Today we are going to discuss about some models of performance evaluation and management. These are the intended learning outcomes of the today lesson. After successfully completed this lesson, you should be able to describe and explain the steps of performance management cycle. Today we are going to discuss about the performance management cycle and the performance management cycle. Firstly, we are going to discuss, then describe and explain the main activities of performance management, main activities of performance management, then the systematic process of performance evaluation and management. Systematic process of uh, performance evaluation and management. These three main areas today we are going to cover with this lesson. As we discussed earlier, now you are aware about the basic introduction part of the performance evaluation. Now you are aware about the what is performance evaluation and management, why it is important. With this lesson, we are going to discuss about how we can evaluate our employee performance, how we can implement performance evaluation and management, what we need to do with the performance evaluation and management. That's what we are going to discuss today. First day, we are focusing on the performance management cycle. It means there are several activities, functions interconnected. That's why we can identify performance management activities as a cycle. According to William Deming, performance management is a natural process of management. Performance management is also, we can identify as a process of management. Already you are aware about the basic management functions and the interconnectivity among the management functions. Planning, organizing, leading, and controlling. When we are focusing on the performance management, it also can be identified as a process of management. It also involves the basic activities. The first one is plan, same as the management process. Now, planning means you are already aware about the what is the plan and what is the main components, basic decisions, what we are going to take under the planning stage. Planning means decide what to do and how to do. The two basic sections, what and how. What means decide what we need to do, what we need to achieve. It may be strategic goals, objectives, vision, mission. Likewise, in here is also in the performance management cycle, we need to decide under the performance management what are the expected targets. outcomes of the performance management. Before implementing, before we are going to do the performance management, we need to decide what we need to achieve after the performance management. And also, we need to take decisions about how we are going to evaluate, how we are going to manage our employees' performance. These two decisions, basic two decisions, we are taking under the planning stage. The second stage, act. With the proper plan, now we can implement it. Carry out the work needed to implement the plan. This is the implementation stage of the performance plan. With the proper plan, now we are aware about what we need to achieve and how we need to achieve, the way of achieving the expected targets. Then, with the proper direction from the plan, now we can implement. After implementation, continuous monitoring is needed, required to ensure our implementation is aligned with the plan. Continuous checks on, continuously checking on what is being done and measure outcomes in order to assess the progress of implementation plan. Monitoring means assess the progress of implementation. So also another very important stage of the management, monitoring. As the final stage, we need to review. Now we have planned, we have implemented it, and continuously we are assessing the progress. With the assessing, with the monitoring stage, now we have information about what we have done and what we need to done. When comparing plan and monitoring feedback, these two data, there may be some differences. Considering both these information with the plan and the monitoring feedback, what has been done, achieved, and what we need to achieve. This both information, when we comparing these both information, we can identify some corrective actions when it is required. Sometimes it may be there is no any gap between what we expect and what we have been achieved. There is no any gap between these two. There is no corrective actions. We have implemented as we planned. Sometimes, most of the time, there are some differences between plan and the actual scenario. Then we need to identify what are the corrective actions required if the performance is not aligned with the plan. These are the four main activities of the process of performance management cycle or performance management cycle. Performance management can be described as a continuous self-reviewing cycle. It is continuous. After monitoring, it is not end. This reviewing part is connected with the performance agreement. This reviewing part is connected with the, again connected with the plan. As the first, we can identify this is first stage of performance management cycle as we discussed. Then act implementation part. This is the second stage. Then the third stage is monitoring. Then as the final stage, we can identify as reviewing stage. But after reviewing or monitoring, now we have feedback about our plan. With this feedback, again, we can revise our plan. If any changes are needed, or if any corrective actions are needed, we can change our plan again. Therefore, we can identify these performance management activities are interconnected. When we considering about specifying the performance management, at the planning stage, we can prepare performance agreement. We'll discuss what is the performance agreement, what do you mean by performance agreement in our next few slides. The second stage, it is implementation or act. Personal development planning. Personal development planning. With this agreement, what we need to do is deciding and implementing in this stage. We are implementing personal development plans in this stage. And monitoring continuous performance. Then we can review, we can take corrective decisions, we can take corrective actions with the review part. Performance agreement, personal development planning, and performance, what they have done, they are doing, and reviewing part. And again, it is connected with the performance agreement. Moving to the next part of our learning outcomes. What are the main performance management activities? In here, we are going to discuss about the main performance management activities. What are the activities we need to perform under the performance management? According to Armstrong 2006, the main activities are role definition. Role definition. One advantage we discussed, one significance of the performance management we discussed, role clarity. With the performance criteria and standards, employee can identify what they have to do and what they not to do. In here, the main performance management activity is role definition. Proper performance management practices, each and every organization, if they are implementing the good performance management system in the organization, they have to decide what they expect from their employees. There may be several, or there may be a lot of jobs within the organization. But each and every employee, we need to define what are their key results areas. Their key results areas. When we are considering about the security officer, of the organization. What are the key results areas? When we are considering about the machine operator, what are the key results area of the job of machine operator? Not only that, when we have for production manager, we need to decide what are the key results areas of production manager. Not only the others, HR manager themselves is also decide what are the key results areas of their job. As example, HR manager need to ensure the proper human resource plan with the proper human resource planning. They need to ensure there is no labor shortage within the performance period. Sometimes it may be 1 year. During that particular year, they need to ensure that there is no any labor shortage for any jobs within the organization. That is their key results areas. The labor turnover need to minimize. Now, our organization has 10% labor turnover rate. Their key results areas we can identify to minimize the labor turnover rate. At the end of the performance period, HR managers are responsible. HR manager is responsible to become a 1% labor turnover rate or 0. Not only the role in the under the role definition activities, we are deciding what are the key results areas. Not only that, what are the competencies required are agreed both. If you are the HR manager, these are the competencies you require. If you are the production manager, these are the competencies you require. If you are the security officer, these are the competencies you require. As our previous example, HR manager has several key results areas: labor turnover, proper HR planning, minimize the employee grievances. Likewise, there are several key results areas. For that, they need to have some competencies. They need to require some competencies. Proper interpersonal competencies, conflict management competencies, proper planning competencies. These are the competencies. Then, under the role definition, when we are going to manage our employees' performance in the organization, we need to define each and every employee for the each and every jobs, not for the employee. These are the key results area of this job, and these are the required competencies is required for the employee. Hope you clear with the role definition. The second activity is performance management, the performance agreement. Performance agreement. These performance agreements define expectations what individuals have to achieve. It means the key results, areas, not only the areas, the levels. Labor turnover. Minimizing labor turnover is the area. 2% or 0% is the level of key results areas, standards. We'll discuss further it under the performance evaluation criteria and standards. In the form of objectives. These are the key results we expect from our employees have to establish as the objectives. How performance will be measured. If we say this employee is good, how we can see? How we can say this employee is good? There should be a measurement. And the competence is needed to deliver the required results. Not only the key results areas and standards, competencies is also required to the results. These are the agreements. Employer decide or the management decide these are the key results areas of this job and these are the competencies required to perform this particular job successfully. Then we'll communicate with the person who are performing the relevant job, and there is an agreement between these two parties. These are the expected results from you. These are the required competencies with you, and you have to achieve in this level. With this two-way communication, if the employee is agreed to our performance criteria, our performance expectations, our performance objectives, and the competency requirements, they need to agree with the organizational requirements. That's called performance agreement. Practically, this part is covered with their letter of appointment. The letter of appointment is specifically mentioned what we are expecting from you, what we are expecting from this job. These are the levels we expect by performing this job. And on the other hand, these are the competencies of the person who are performing this job. These are the required competencies who need to perform the required results, deliver the required results. And performance improvement plan is another main activity. The performance improvement planning, which is spelled out what individuals should do to improve their performance when it is necessary. This performance improvement planning is connected with the AVP. If we have employees, by monitoring employee and our job, we can identify some differences, some gap between the job requirement, the actual employee competencies. Now we can do the performance improvement plan. With our existing employees, they can achieve our performance targets lower than what the level is lower than what we expect. There is a performance gap between actual performance and the expected performance. Then we have to identify what are the causes for that, what are the reasons. Then if we identify this performance gap is there because of their competencies or lack of skills, then we need to plan to develop their performance by giving required knowledge, skills, and attitudes, by organizing training programs or by organizing continuous training programs. Likewise, there should be a performance improvement plan. It's also part of performance management. And the personal development plans. Not only the performance development, persons need to be developed. We set out the actions people should take to develop their knowledge, skills, and increase their level of competence. Sometimes we are motivating our employees to do the external courses. Sometimes we are motivating our employees to do the masters to acquire more knowledge. Some organizations may motivate their employees to do the PhDs. Likewise, personal development is also required. It's also part of performance management activity. Managing performance throughout the year, it means continuous monitoring, continuity of the performance management activities. These all above activities are not as ad hoc activities. It should be continuously. We need to managing our employees throughout the performance period. In here, year mean the performance period. Sometimes it may be 1 year, sometimes it may be 6 months, or sometimes more than 1 year. When actions taken to implement the performance agreement and performance improvement and personal development plans, all the above activities individuals carry out on with their day-to-day work and their planned learning activities. It includes a continuous process of providing feedback on performance. By providing feedback, we can ensure the managing performance throughout the year. Feedback is a very good mechanism for the continuous monitoring and conducting informal progress reviews. With the proper monitoring part, now we are reviewing their progress. Time to time. Update objectives. If there is any mismatch between objectives and the actual performance, there may be some mistakes with our objectives. Now we can revise our objectives, performance objectives. Now we can revisit our performance objectives. Not only the employee, we can revise or review, we can monitor our part as well. Then the performance review. It is appraisal. Formal evaluation stage. Review the performance of the employee over the this review is take base part of for the next performance agreement. These are interconnected because why? That is why we identify this performance management as a cycle. After reviewing this reviewing feedback, we can use to create the next year performance agreement. It is a base for the next performance management agreement. That is the interconnectivity between the relationship between the performance review and the performance agreement. These all activities are interconnected. බැලුවාම ළමයි ඔක්කොම එක වගේ පේනවා ඇත්තේ ඒකට හේතුව මේ ඔක්කොම එකිනෙකට සම්බන්ධයි. Role definition කියලා කියන්නේ මොනවාද key results areas අපි job එකක් ගත්තොත් පුද්ගලයෙක් ගත්තොත් එයා ඒ රැකියාව කිරීම සම්බන්ධයෙන් අපි ඒ තුලින් බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන ප්‍රධාන results areas මෙන්න මේ outcome එක අපි බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා. ආයතනයක security officer කෙනෙක් ගත්තොත් සොරකම 0 කරන්න ඕන. ඒක යාගෙන් බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන එකක්. ආයතනයක production manager කෙනෙක් ගත්තොත් production එක එයාගේ capacity එක 100% use වෙන විදියට පාවිච්චි වෙන්න. capacity එක 100ක් produce කරන එක නම් key results area එක වෙන්න. එයාගේ ඒ 100ම produce කරන්න පුළුවන් වෙන විදියට production process එකේ smoothly function වෙන විදියට manage කරන එක අපි production manager එකෙන් බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන key results area එකක්. marketing manager ගත්තත් එමයයි. අපි market analysis එකක් කරලා අඳුර ගන්නවා අපිට යන්න පුළුවන් market එක කොච්චරක්ද කියලා. ඒ යන්න පුළුවන් හැම කෙනාටම අපේ භාණ්ඩය හෝ සේවාව අලෙවි කිරීම marketing manager එකෙන් අපි බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන key results area එක. HR manager නැතුව අනිත් හැමෝටම key results areas define කරන එක නෙමෙයි වැඩේ. HR manager කෙනෙක් ඉන්නවා නම් HR manager එකත් අදාළව key results areas හොඳ HR plan එකක් තියෙන එක. කොහෙත් කිසිම අංශයකට අදාළව කිසිම දෙපාර්තමේන්තුවකට අදාළව සේවක හිඟයක් ඇති නොවන ආකාරයට සේවකීන් සපයීම සේවකීන් ආයතනය හැර යාම නැත්නම් ටර්නෝවර් එක බිඳුවට ගෙන ඒම ඒ වගේ HR manager කෙනෙක්ටත් නැත්නම් HR executive කෙනෙක්ටත් මේ කියන key results areas define කරන්න ඕනේ. ඒ define කරන එක අපි කියනවා role definition කියලා. ඒ key results areas විතරක් නෙවෙයි ඒවට ඕන කරන competencies මෙන්න මේවා කියලා decide කරන්න ඕනේ. මේක එක පාර්ශවයක් විසින් decide කරලා ඒක ඒගොල්ලෝ ගාව තියාගෙන හිටිය කියලා වැඩක් වෙන්නේ නැහැ. මේ කියන key results areas achieve කරන්න key results achieve කරන්න සහ ඒ competency requirements achieve කරන්න තනි අතකින් බෑ. කියන්නේ employerට නැත්නම් management එකට විතරක් තනියෙන් කරන්න පුළුවන් වැඩක් නෙවෙයි ළමයි. ඒ නිසා මේක employees ලත් එක්ක කතා කරලා ඒගොල්ලොත් එක්ක discuss කරලා ඒගොල්ලන්ව දැනුවත් කරලා දෙපාර්ශ්වය අතර යම් කිවිසුමකට ලැබෙන්න ඕනේ. ඒකට අපි කියන performance agreement එකක්. අපි ඔයගෙන් බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන key results areas මෙන්න මේවා. ඔයාලට තියෙන්න ඕනේ කියලා බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන මූලික සුදුසුකම් කුසලතාවයන් competencies වෙන ඒවා විදිහට key results areas competencies ඔයගෙන දෙපාර්ශ්වය අතර එකඟතාවයකට එනවා. අපි ඒකට කියනවා performance agreement. ඒ විතරක් මාදී අපි ඩෙවලොප්මන්ට් එකක් ගැන හිතන්න ඕනේ. performance improve කරන්න අපි බලාපොරොත්තු වෙච්ච competencies අපි බලාපොරොත්තු වෙච්ච key results areas cover වෙන්නේ නැත්තම් සහ key results අපි බලාපොරොත්තු වෙච්ච මට්ටමට ළඟා කරගන්න බැයි නම් ඒ සඳහා මොනවද කරන්න ඕනේ කියන එක සම්බන්ධයෙන් අපි සැලසුම් කරන්න ඕන. අපි ඒකට කියනවා performance improvement plan. performance improvement plan basically මූලික වශයෙන්ම අවධානය යොමු කරන්නේ key results areas ගැන. key results areas විතරක් develop වෙලා මදි. ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ competencies develop කරන්න ඕනේ. employees ලාගේ competencies results කියන දෙක interconnected. මේ දෙක අතර අන්තර් සම්බන්ධතාවයක් තියෙනවා. හොඳ කුසලතාවයක් තිබ්බොත්, හොඳ හැකියාවක් තිබ්බොත්, හොඳ competency එකක් තිබ්බොත් විතරයි අපි බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන සේවකයාගෙන් බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන outcome එක ගන්න පුළුවන්. එහෙම නොවන අවස්ථාවකදී අදාළ පුද්ගලයාට අදාළ competency එක දෙන්න අපි ළඟ සැලසුමක් තියෙන්න ඕන. අපි ඒකට කියනවා personal development plan එක. ඒකත් performance management වල broadly අපි performance evaluation කියන එක අපි කතා කරා performance management වල එක part එකක් කියලා. මේ performance evaluation කියන එකට අමතරව මේ කියන planning stage එකට අදාළ වෙන activities බොහොමයක් performance management ඇතුලේ තියෙනවා. ඊළඟ එක for managing performance throughout the year. අර time by time මේක අපි දැන් ඔන්න plan එකක් හැදුවා. දැන් මෙන්න මේවා තමයි කරන්න ඕන කියලා අඳුරගත්ත පුද්ගලයාට personal development plan එකකින් ඊට කලින් අපි performance improvement plan එකකින් අපි key results areas achieve කරගන්න ආයතනෙන් මොන වගේ දේවල්ද වෙන්න ඕන කියලා අඳුරගත්තා. performance agreement එකක් තිබුණා. ඒක ඔය plan එක විතරක් හරියන්නේ නැහැ. අර plan performance agreement එකත් එක්ක continuously මේ කියන performance achieve කරමින් ඉන්නවද කියලා monitor කරන්න ඕනේ. feedback එකක් ongoing feedback එකක් employees ලට දෙන්න ඕනේ. මේ අවුරුද්දම ඉවර වෙනකන් ඉඳලා මේ අවුරුද්දේ ඔයා achieve කරේ නෑනේ කියලා එයාට bonus එක නොදී ඉන්න එක හරි. නැත්තම් මේ අවුරුද්දේ ඔයාගේ මෙච්චර දෙයක් බලාපොරොත්තු වුණා කියලා අවුරුද්ද අන්තිමට කියන එක හරි නෙවෙයි performance management කියලා කියන්නේ. plan එක agreement එක ඇති වෙන්නේ සාමාන්‍යයෙන් performance period එක මුලදී. හැබැයි ගොඩක් වෙලාවට ආයතනවල reviewing part එක නැත්නම් appraisal part එක performance evaluation එක කරන්නේ අවුරුද්ද අන්තිමට. ඒක එච්චර හොඳ practice එකක් නෙවෙයි. agreement එක සිද්ධ වෙන්න ඕන අවුරුද්ද මුලදී තමයි. එතන ඉඳලම continuously monitoring part එකක් යන්න ඕන. අපි කියනවා ඒකට managing performance throughout the year. නැත්නම් performance period එක පුරාම අපි හිතමු අවුරුද්දක් කියලා ගත්තේ. ඒ අවුරුද්ද පුරාවටම performance monitor වෙන්න ඕන. එයාට feedback එකක් දෙන්න ඕන. ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ performance මාසෙන් මාසෙට සතියෙන් සතියට review කරලා ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ progress එක ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ performance වල වැඩිවීමක් තියනවාද අඩුවීමක් තියනවාද කියන එක අපි employees ලට ඒ වෙලාවට දැනුම් දෙන්න ඕන. අවුරුද්ද අන්තිමට කියලා ඒ සේවකයාට ඒක හදා ගන්න වෙලාවක් නැහැ ළමයි. performance review, this is basically the final review. අවුරුද්ද අන්තිමට අපි කියනවා අවුරුද්ද අන්තිමට මේක අපි අවුරුද්දේ මෙන්න මෙච්චර performance target එකක් ඔයාගෙන් බලාපොරොත්තු වුණා. මෙන්න මේ වගේ competencies ඔයාගෙන් බලාපොරොත්තු වුණා. ඒක ගැන අවුරුද්ද අන්තිමට ආපහු review කරනවා. මේකට අපි අර performance evaluation normally මේ performance review එක අපි අවුරුද්ද පුරාම කරපු review එකත් මේකත් පාවිච්චි කරලා ඊළඟ අවුරුද්දේ මොන වගේ දෙයක් වෙන්න ඕනද කියලා ආපහු රීවිසිට් කරනවා. අපේ process එක review කරනවා. අපේ cycle එක review කරන වැඩි මේකෙදි සිද්ධ වෙනවා. අපි දැන් වෙනකොට කතා කරලා ඉවරයි ළමයි performance management cycle එක. There are three main learning outcomes of the today lesson. The performance management cycle, main activities of performance management, is both learning outcomes are covered. Now we are moving to the model of performance evaluation. Is presented by our Upatha Senior Professor Upatha, 2002. It can be identified as systematic process. This process involves 10 interrelated activities. 10 interrelated activities are there in the performance evaluation systematic process. This is the third learning outcomes of the today lesson. This is the first activity. There are 10 activities. There are 10 activities, interrelated activities. The first one is establish objectives of performance evaluation. This is another model of performance evaluation. The Armstrong 2006 is presenting another model of performance evaluation and management. Up to this point, we have discussed about the Armstrong model. Armstrong basically focused on the performance management cycle. In here, it has identified as a process. The first stage, අපි කලින් කතා කරේ ළමයි Armstrong 2006 කියන මොඩල් එක. ඒකෙදි කතා කරලා තියෙන්නේ performance management එක අර සාමාන්‍ය කළමනාකරන ක්‍රියාවලිය ඇතුලේ තියෙන සැලසුම්කරණය, සංවිධානකරණය, මෙහෙවීම, පාලනය කියන ඒ වගේ ක්‍රියාවලියක් විදියටම අරගෙන performance management කියන එකත් management functions වලට connect කරලා කරන විදිය කොහොමද කියන එක තමයි කතා කරේ. ඒක ඇතුලේ තිබිච්ච activities, main activities මොනවද කියන එකත් අපි කතා කරා. මේකෙදි කතා කරන්නේ ආපහු අපේ උපාතස විසින් ඉදිරිපත් කරපු performance evaluation model එක. මේකෙදි highlight කරන්නේ මේක process එකක් විදියට. එතකොට කලින් කතා කරපු ඒවයි මේකයි පටල ගන්න එපා. මේකට ඒක නිසාම තමයි පාඩමේ නම දාලා තියෙන්නේ models of performance evaluation. There are two main models we are focusing on this lesson. අපි main model දෙකක් පාවිච්චි කරනවා. එකක් තමයි Armstrong model එක. මේ දක්වා කතා කරේ ඒ model එක. අපි මේතෙන්දි කතා කරන්න බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන්නේ උපාත් සර්විස් ඉදිරිපත් කරන ලද model. මේකෙදි අපි performance management නැත්නම් performance evaluation and management කියන එක මූලිකව හඳුනා ගන්න process එකක් විදියට. There are two models we have discussed. We are discussing about the performance evaluation and management. The first model is Armstrong 2006 model, and now we are moving to the second model, Opath 2002 model. When we compare with these two models, the Armstrong 2006 is highly specifically focused on the management functions. There are 4 management functions: planning, organizing, leading, and controlling. Now, in this model, it is highlighted that in this model, it is focused on the process as the process. The previous model, it has focused on the cycle. These are the main differences, but if you are studying in these two models, there is a repetition. අර මොඩල් එකේදී performance plan කරන එක, key results areas decide කරන එක වගේ දේවල් අපි කතා කරලා. මේ මොඩල් එකේදීත් ඒක තියෙනවා. ඒකට හේතුව ඒක එක විදිහක්, මේක එක විදිහක්. හැබැයි දෙකෙන්ම කෙරෙන්නේ එකම දේ. performance evaluation and management. I hope you are clear with the two models. Now we are moving to the second model of performance evaluation and management. It was presented by the Professor Opath 2002. The first step of the performance evaluation and management process is establish objectives of performance evaluation. In this stage, we are establishing objectives for the performance evaluation and management. same as the performance planning. How we perform the performance evaluation, how we evaluate our employee performance, and why it is required. The expected objectives, what we expect from the performance evaluation and management. It need to be decided at the beginning. As the first stage, we need to establish objectives for the performance evaluation. We'll discuss further next few slides. The second stage of or second steps of the performance evaluation process, formulate policies of performance evaluation. At the first step, we answer main two questions: why we need to do the performance evaluation, and what are the expected outcomes through the performance evaluation. These two main questions are answered by the first stage. Why we need to do the performance evaluation, the main reason, and what are the expected outcomes. It can be identified as the one question: why it is needed, what are the reasons for doing performance evaluation. To answer that question, we can establish objectives for the performance evaluation. The second stage, we can formulate policies. In this stage, we are answering main four questions. We'll discuss in next few slides. Under the formulation of policies, we have the performance evaluation and management should be fair evaluation. Otherwise, it may create many conflicts and many grievances among the employees. Therefore, it should be fair and equal for each and every employee. That's why we need to create policies, policy decisions, ප්‍රතිපත්තිමය තීරණ. These decisions are equally effects, equal impacts on each and every people of the organization. Policy එකක් ප්‍රතිපත්තියක් කියලා කියන්නේ ළමයි ඒක පුද්ගලයාගෙන් පුද්ගලයාට අවස්ථාවෙන් අවස්ථාවට වෙනස් වෙන එකක් නෙමෙයි. පොදුවේ ගන්න ඕන තීරණ කීපයක් තියෙනවා. ප්‍රධාන තීරණ හතරක් තියෙනවා. අපි ඒකට කියනවා performance evaluation policies කියලා. ප්‍රතිපත්ති තීරණය කරනවා. ඒ හතර මොනවද කියලා අපි ඉස්සරහදී කතා කරමු. objectives යටතේ අපි කලින් කතා කරේ අපි ඇයි performance evaluation කරන්න හේතුව මොකක්ද? main reason එක මොකක්ද? මොකක්ද මේක කිරීම තුළින් බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන්නේ කියන එක අපි objective එකක් විදිහට establish කර ගන්නවා. ඊට පස්සේ අපි performance evaluation කරන්න ගියාම මේක හරි පරිස්සමට කරන්න ඕනේ. වෙලාවෙන් වෙලාවට අවස්ථාවෙන් අවස්ථාවට පුද්ගලයාගෙන් පුද්ගලයාට වෙනස් වෙන එක එච්චරම හොඳ performance evaluation එකක් නෙවෙයි. එක ලක්ෂණයක් නෙවෙයි. ඒ නිසා අපිට සිද්ධ වෙනවා policies නැත්නම් ප්‍රතිපත්ති නීතිමය රාමුවක් වගේ කියලා හිතාගත්තත් කමක් නැහැ. ඒ වගේ තීරණ කීපයක් ගන්න. There are policy decisions need to be taken in this stage. The third step of the performance evaluation process, establish criteria and standards. Criteria mean what we are going to evaluate. What are the areas we are considering under the performance evaluation criteria? And what are the levels? We'll discuss in next few chapters in this course. Fourth, select methods. There are several alternative methods we can use to evaluate our employee performance. There are several methods. We will discuss in detail in our next few lessons. Methods, 360 methods, BAS, BOS. Likewise, there are several methods. MBO, graphic rating scales. Likewise, there are several methods we can use to performance evaluation. We'll discuss further in our next few lessons. Fifth, design evaluation forms and procedures. When we are evaluating, documentation part is very important, and equally, therefore, each and every employee, it is very important when we are doing performance evaluation. Form means the document part of documentation. We need to decide what are the forms we can fill with the employee performance, and procedures. The steps when we are doing performance evaluation, what is steps we have to follow, that is called procedures. We'll discuss further. Train evaluators. Sometimes HR manager themselves or HR department themselves, they cannot evaluate each and every employee of the organization. This is impossible. Therefore, we have to use another employees or other superior as the evaluators. So most of the time, production manager, marketing manager, finance manager, all other superiors may be evaluators under the performance evaluation. Therefore, we have to train all these parties how to do the performance evaluation effectively and efficiently, successfully. We have to give that skill to the required people. Therefore, we train our evaluators. Appraisal in here, evaluation, performance evaluation. Under the 7th step, we are evaluating our employee performance, actually performing our performance evaluation. The 8th step, discuss the PE results. After appraisal, now we have data about the actual performance of the employee. Then we have to discuss with the relevant employees. It is called performance feedback interviews. Discuss the performance evaluation results. So also will be discussed to make decisions and store. This performance evaluation data and information are very important for the future planning. Therefore, we can take some decisions, and we need to store this information for the future usefulness. Last step, review and renewal. Sometimes there may be some mistakes. There may be some improvements, required improvements in our performance evaluation process as well. When we are doing performance evaluation, we review our performance evaluation process as well. Then we can review our performance evaluation process. Detailed discussion about the first step of the performance evaluation process. Establish objectives of performance evaluation, employee performance evaluation. Objectives, the specific outcomes we expect when we are doing something. In here, what are the specific outcomes of doing performance evaluation, employee performance evaluation? Desired future results. Desired future results that an organization would achieve by doing employee performance evaluation. objectives are favorable targets to be achieved in future. The organization should establish targets. After doing performance evaluation, employee performance evaluation, these are the expected outcomes to achieve. There are several purposes we discussed in our previous 2 lessons. There may be management purposes and informative purposes. The management purposes we discuss. There may be development purposes and there may be administrative purposes. Based on these purposes, we can establish objectives. The specific targets we can establish. These objectives are the integral part of any employee performance evaluation program. Without these objectives, we cannot do the successful performance evaluation and management. Before evaluating our employees' performance, we need to identify what are the expected outcomes. That is integral, essential. But these objectives should be clear and understandable for the relevant parties. Otherwise, cannot be achieved without understanding and without clarity of the performance evaluation objectives. These are the examples for performance evaluation objectives. To ascertain, mean determine the current level of the job performance. Job performance රැකියාවේ කාර්යඵල ප්‍රමාණය දැනගන්න එක ළමයි. පළවෙනිම පරමාර්ථය. ඇයි අපි ඉවලුවේට් කරන්නේ? මේ මිනිස්සයා කොච්චර හැදුවාද, කොච්චර නිෂ්පාදනය කරාද, කොච්චර සේවයක් සැලසුවාද කියන එක අපිට දැනගන්න වැදගත්. For each employee to determine or to ascertain the current level of job performance. Sometimes it may be excellent level, sometimes it may be very poor level. We need to determine, otherwise we cannot manage our employees. To ascertain the strength and weaknesses of the employee. It may be another objective of the performance evaluation and management. How we can identify the strength, positive sides, and weaknesses, negative sides of the other employees. The only way, when we are doing performance evaluation and we can identify their strength and weaknesses. That may be another very important objectives of performance evaluation. Then there may be some weaknesses. We have to train our employees. Then we can identify some training needs of each employee of the organization. Without doing performance evaluation, we cannot identify there is a requirement for training or not. That's the best way to identify training needs. That may be another basic objective of doing performance evaluation. To ascertain potential performance and development needs, so as to develop employee for the promotions. Sometimes there may be high capable employees. They are capable more than what we set for their targets, as their targets. Then we can train and we can identify that potentiality of the employee, and we can develop that employee to get the promotion. Without the performance evaluation, we cannot identify our employees for capability. Sometimes there may be some employees who cannot perform what we expect. There may be training needs, or sometimes there may be some serious decisions are required. Maybe dismiss, terminate the employee, right? to provide fair, objective, rationale in order to reward employees. Without doing performance evaluation, we cannot pay for performance because we are not aware about the performance. If any organization reward employees without considering their performance, that may be the main harm or damage for the organization. The second step, formulate policies. In here, policies mean common decisions. Common decisions. එක රටක් එක නීතියක් නම. performance evaluation කරනවා නම් හැමෝටම සමානව බලපාන ප්‍රතිපත්තිමය තීරණ කීපයක් ගන්න. එක්කෙනෙක්ගේ performance evaluate කරද්දී එක විදියක්, තව කෙනෙක්ගේ performance evaluate කරද්දී එක විදියක් වෙන්න බෑ. ඒක පොදුවේ තීරණය කරන්න ඕනේ. එහෙම පොදුවේ තීරණ ගන්න ඕනේ ප්‍රධාන තීරණ හතරක් තියෙනවා. පොදුවේ විසඳා ගන්න ඕන ප්‍රධාන ප්‍රශ්න හතරක් තියෙනවා. There may be common 4 fundamental questions. Based on these 4 main questions, we can formulate the policies. Common decisions. Whose performance should be evaluated? අපි කාගේ performance evaluate කරන්න. There may be some alternatives. We can do only for the managerial. performance evaluate කරන්න. Sometimes it may be all the employees of the organization. අපිට පුළුවන් හැම employee කෙනෙක්ගේම performance evaluate කරන්න. Maybe another alternative. Sometimes production employees are only. We are considering when we are evaluating employees' performance, we are considering only the production employees, not to others. Sometimes office employees are only. We are considering only the office employees. These are the alternatives for the policies. Before doing performance evaluation, before start the evaluation, we need to decide, clarify these areas. At the beginning, we need to have answer. You have to answer this question. The second question, when should do the performance evaluation be done? කවද්ද අපි performance evaluation කරන්නේ? Sometimes අපි continuously කරනවා වෙන්න පුළුවන්. මැදදී කරනවා වෙන්න පුළුවන්. Sometimes it may be end. At the beginning, it cannot be done. At the middle of the performance period, at the end of the performance period, sometimes job cycle, after completing one time, there may be several approaches. Mainly job cycle approach and fixed time approach. The next question, before doing the performance evaluation, it's also the serious problem, serious questions to be answered. Third question, how often should do the performance evaluation be done? කොච්චර වාර ගානක් කරනවද? Annually, biannually, weekly, daily. We need to decide. Before doing the performance evaluation, we have to decide. We have to answer this question. Otherwise, we cannot do the performance evaluation successfully. The last question, who should do the performance evaluation? In here, who should do the performance evaluation mean the position, not the person. Performance evaluation කරන්නේ කවුද? කරන කෙනාගේ නම නෙවෙයි ළමයි මෙතෙන්දි වැදගත් වෙන්නේ එයාගේ position. Production employees ලාගේ performance evaluate කරන්න supervisor. supervisors lage performance evaluate karanne production manager or supervisor are the positions, not the person. Machine operators lage performance evaluate karanne amal nemeyi lam. Amal කියලා ඉන්න supervisor කෙනෙක් නම් ඒ supervisor කියන position එක තමයි ඒක කරන්නේ. Who should do the performance evaluation? Sometimes it may be immediate superior. Sometimes it may be immediate superior. ඒ කියන්නේ machine operators ලා ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ job එක report කරන්නේ supervisor නම් එයාගේ immediate superior කියන්නේ එයා. Immediate superior විසින් performance evaluate කරනවා නම් අපි ඒකට කියනවා immediate superior. For immediate superior, there may be alternatives. Actually, there are few alternatives for this question. But before doing the performance evaluation, we need to have exact answer. Otherwise, our performance evaluation may not be successful. Establish criteria and standards. We will discuss further in our next few lessons as well. Criteria mean the factors. Standards mean levels. Specific criteria and standards to be used in judging employee performance have to be identified, selected, and established. Without criteria and standards, no systematic and fair evaluation can be done. Criteria refers to factors. Criteria කියලා කියන්නේ ළමයි අපි performance කියලා evaluate කරන්න යන්නේ මොනවද කියන එකට answer. උදාහරණයක් විදිහට machine operator කෙනෙක්ගේ performance evaluate කරන්න නම් යන්නේ අපි machine operator කෙනෙක්ගේ performance කියලා බලන්නේ මොනවද? මොන වගේ සාධක? The number of production, number of unit produced by the number of production errors. And ඒ වගේ දේවල් ගැන තමයි බලන්නේ. නැතුව machine operator ගේ උස මහත ඒ වගේ දේවල් අපි බලන්නේ නැහැ. එහෙනම් what are the factors we have to identify before evaluating employee job performance? I used to evaluate jobs. The levels are standards. My production errors when standards කියන එක මම ඊළඟට කතා කරන්න ළමයි. These are the one examples for production employees. Number of production errors. Errors අඩුයි නම් ළමයි quality එක මොකද වෙන්නේ? වැඩි. The criteria is quality of work. Can be measured by monitoring or evaluating through the production errors per day for the site. This is very clear, specific. Number of garment completed per day. Quantity of work is another criteria we can use to evaluate the garment manufacturing organization machine operator. The next one is interpersonal conflicts. Is also very important. The criteria is cooperativeness. Number of work methods initiated during the month. It's also covered. That answer at that question addressed to the initiatives. It's also another very important criteria of the performance evaluation and management. I think you got the clear idea. Any questions up to this point? Okay. These are the standards. Standards refer the rating scales. අපිට factors විතරක් තිබ්බා කියලා performance evaluate කරන්න බෑ ළමයි. ඒ factor එක මොන මට්ටමේ තියෙන්න ඕනද කියලා level එක. The rating scales need to be decided. මෙන්න මේ මට්ටමේ තිබුණොත් good. මේ මට්ටමේ තිබුණොත් excellent. My example is continuity with the criteria. Example with this example. The first one criteria is production errors. Now we have the levels of quality of work for the production employee, number of production errors, quality of work. Criteria is quality of work can be measured through the number of errors, production errors per day. If 0, the level is excellent. If equal or less than 3, we can call this good. Less than 5, it is moderate. Less than 7, poor. More than 7 is very poor. These are the levels. If any employee have done the 8 errors, what's the level of their performance? Production employee කෙනෙක් errors 8ක් කරලා තියනවා නම් ළමයි එයාගේ level එක මොකක්ද? Yes,
Very poor.
very poor. Thank you. කවුරු හරි production employee කෙනෙක් කරලා තියනවා නම් ළමයි errors 4ක්. එයාගේ production level එක, එයාගේ performance level එක මොකක්ද? If there is any employee have done the 4 production errors per day, what's the level?
Good.
4. Is it good? It is less than 5, but more than 3. Be careful. For example, කවුරු හරි production employee කෙනෙක් production errors 4ක් කරලා තියෙනවා නම් එයාගේ performance standard එක වෙන්නේ good. 3ට වඩා අඩු නම් අපි කියනවා good කියලා. මෙතන මේ දීලා තියෙන එක incomplete කියලා ඔයාලට පේන්න පුළුවන් සමහර වෙලාවට, නමුත් incomplete නෑ ළමයි. අපිට මොනවා හරි එකක් දුන්නාම ඒකේ තියෙන ඒ කියන්නේ practical scenario එක මේක ඇතුළට categorize කරගන්න පුළුවන් නම් පැහැදිලිව හරි තමයි. 4 කියන එක කොහෙටද යන්නේ ළමයි? 3ට වඩා වැඩි. හැබැයි 5ට වඩා අඩුයි. less than 5 but more than 3. good කියන එකට යන්න නම් අනිවාර්යෙන් මොකද වෙන්න ඕන ළමයි? 3ට වඩා මොකද වෙන්න ඕන? ළමයි මම මේ තනියෙන් කෑ ගහලා නිදා ගන්න එකට හරි මොන හරි ගෙදර කරන වැඩකට හරි බාධා කරනවා නම් මට සමා වෙන්න ඕන. ඇයිනවද? හතර කියන එක කොහෙටද ළමයි යන්නේ?
මොඩරේට් කියන එකට සර්.
මොඩරේට්. පැහැදිලි නේද මම කියපු එක ළමයි? 3ට වඩා වැඩි, 5ට වඩා අඩුයි. මෙතන කියන්නේ equal or less than 5. කවුරු හරි production employee කෙනෙක් production errors 5ක් කරලා තියෙනවා නම් ඒ යන්නේත් මොකටද?
මොඩරේට් කියන එක.
moderate. Clear? පැහැදිලි නේද ළමයි?
Oh, sir.
Okay, thank you. Fourth step of the performance evaluation process is select methods of performance evaluation. We'll discuss in detail in our next few lessons. Methods of evaluating employee job performance has to be decided. There are several methods or many methods of performance evaluation available today, but by using all the methods, we cannot do the performance evaluation and management practical. It is not practical, but we have to decide among the all available employee performance evaluation methods, what method we are going to use. We have to decide. These are the methods we are going to use to evaluate our employees' performance. Some methods we cannot match. These methods are not matched with our requirements. We'll discuss in detail the methods of performance evaluation. We allocate 3 lessons for the performance evaluation methods. Design evaluation forms and procedures. There are 2. One is form and another one is procedure. Form එකක් කියලා කියන්නේ ළමයි. ඔයාලට form ගැන නම් අත්දැකීමක් තියෙන්න ඕන. එහෙම නැත්නම් ඔතෙන්ට එන්න අමාරුයි. ඔයා විශ්වවිද්‍යාලේ එන්නත් මොකද්ද ළමයි පිරෙව්වේ? form එකක්. procedure එකක්.
වගා මොකක්ද තියෙනවනම් එහෙම ලියාගත්ත මට දෙන්න. ඒවන්න.
procedure එකක් කියලා කියන්නේ ළමයි ඒ form එක fill කරන්න
අපිට මං කොහොම post එක හදන්න දෙන්න ප්‍රසන්ට් කරන්න කියලා මම ප්‍රසන්ට් කරනවා වෙන එක කියලා.
අපි form එක fill කරන්න follow කරන්න ඕනි guideline එක. මේ form එකයි procedure එකයි පිළිබඳව හොඳම අවබෝධය ඔයාලට practically ඔයා අත්විඳපු උදාහරණේ මම පාවිච්චි කරන්නම් පැහැදිලි කරන්න. form එකක් කියලා කියන්නේ ඔයාගේ තොරතුරු ඇතුළත් කරලා සම්පූර්ණ කරන්න ඕන පත්‍රිකාව. procedure එකක් කියලා කියන්නේ ඒ form එක fill කරද්දී ඔයා follow කරන්න ඕනි steps ටික මොනවාද? ඒ නිවැරදිව පුරවන්න නම් ඔයා මොන වගේ ඒවාද අනුගමනය කරන්න ඕනේ කියලා. උදාහරණයක් විදිහට ඔයා විශ්වවිද්‍යාලයේ අයදුම්පත තව දෙයක් තමයි ළමයි ඔයා හිතාගෙන ඉන්නා නේද? ඔයා විභාගේ පාස් වෙලා කැම්පස් ආවි කියලා. ඔයා රැවටිලා ඉන්නේ ළමයි. අපි නෙමෙයි විශ්වවිද්‍යාලයේ නැත්නම් විශ්වවිද්‍යාල ප්‍රතිපාදන කොමිෂන් සභාව ඔයාව කැම්පස් එකට තෝරගත්තේ ළමයි. ඔයාගේ විභාග ප්‍රතිඵල පදනම් කරගෙන නෙවෙයි. මේක මං හිතන්නේ ඔයා මීට කලින් හිතලම නැතුව ඇති. ඔයා A level පාස් වෙච්ච නිසා කැම්පස් ආවා කියලා හිතාගෙන ඉන්නවනම් ඒක වැරදි තමයි. ඔයා කැම්පස් ඇවිල්ලා තියෙන්නේ මොකටද? කොහොමද කියලා දන්නවද ළමයි? ඔයා පුරෝපු විශ්වවිද්‍යාල ප්‍රවේශ අයදුම් පත්‍රය නැත්නම් අර ගයිඩ් බුක් එකක් හෑන්ඩ් බුක් එකක් පාවිච්චි කරලා මම හිතන්නේ ඔයාලා ඔන්ලයින් එක දැම්මේ. මතකද එහෙම එකක්? ආන්නේ ෆිල් කරපු ෆෝම් එක නිසා තමයි ළමයි ඔයා කැම්පස් ඇවිල්ලා. මම කියන දේත් එක්ක ඔයා එකඟ නැත්නම් ඔයා දිස්ත්‍රික් ෆස්ට් වුණත් ඒ ෆෝම් එක දැම්මේ නැත්නම් කැම්පස් එකට ඔයාව ගන්නෙ නෑ ළමයි. විභාග ප්‍රතිඵල මත ගන්නවා නම් අනිවාර්යෙන් ෆෝම් එක අදාළ කරගන්න නැතුව මොකක්ද වෙන්න ඕනේ? ගන්න. හැබැයි දිස්ත්‍රික් ප්‍රථම යවෙරත් නැත්නම් අයිලන්ඩ් ෆස්ට් උනත් ඔයා විශ්වවිද්‍යාලයට ගන්න නැහැ ළමයි. පස්සෙන් ඇවිල්ලා නැත්නම් ගෙදරට ඇවිල්ලා විශ්වවිද්‍යාලය හෝ විශ්වවිද්‍යාල ප්‍රතිපාදන කොමිෂන් සභාව ඔයාව විශ්වවිද්‍යාලයට ගන්නවද? නැහැ. ඔයාව ගත්තේ ඔයාගේ ෆෝම් එක නිසා. ඔයා ගත්ත ප්‍රතිඵලය නිවැරදිව ඒක සඳහන් කරන්න අවශ්‍යයි. ඒක වෙනම කතාවක්. හැබැයි විශ්වවිද්‍යාලයට ගත්තේ ෆෝම් එක විතරයි. ෆෝම් එක කන්සිඩර් කරලා විතරයි. විශ්වවිද්‍යාලයට ගන්නෙ නැහැ. ඔයාගේ රිසල්ට්ස් කොච්චර හොඳ වුණත් ඔයා ෆෝම් එකක් දැම්මේ නැත්තම්. නිසා ෆෝම් එක ප්‍රොසීඩියර් එක මම හිතන්නේ ඔයාලට එක්ස්පීරියන්ස් එකක් තියෙනවා. ෆෝම් ඒ නිසා මට ලේසි වෙයි මේක කියලා දෙන්න. In the performance evaluation and management, there it's also documentation part is very important as your life as well. Because we are going to evaluate our very important, serious resources, not the machine, not the other equipment. We are going to evaluate our very sensible, animate resource. There are several unique characteristics. Therefore, we have to be very careful when we are evaluating our employees' performance. Having selected methods of performance evaluation, design performance evaluation form and procedure is a must. It is must. Essential. Without performance evaluation forms and procedure, we cannot do the performance evaluation and management. Hereby, either common form or procedure of evaluating, there are two approaches: common approach or separate forms, specific forms, common forms and separate forms. එක හා සමාන පොදු ආකෘතියකින් ෆෝම් එක හදන්නත් පුළුවන් ළමයි, නැත්නම් ජොබ් එකකින් ජොබ් එකට වෙන වෙනම ෆෝම්ස් හදන්න පුළුවන්. ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ ස්පෙસિෆික් කැරක්ටරිස්ටික්ස්, ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ සුවිශේෂී සාධක සැලකිල්ලට අරගෙන වෙන වෙනම ෆෝම්ස් හදන්නත් පුළුවන්, නැත්නම් ඩිසයින් කරන්නත් පුළුවන්, නැත්නම් පොදුවේ එක ෆෝම් එකක් පාවිච්චි කරන්නත් පුළුවන්. මේ ෆෝම්ස් ඩිසයින් කරන එක ගැන අපි ඉස්සරහදී කතා කරනවා. But procedure, what are the steps have to be followed when we are filling these forms? The very specific, clear guidelines need to be provided. Otherwise, performance evaluator may confuse. Okay. The sixth step is train evaluators. By providing the clear guidelines, it is not enough, because these are not familiar with the HRM functions. These all employees. If we are deciding immediate superior need to be done the performance evaluation, these all immediate superiors are not the HR person. They are not aware about the HR. They are not familiar, or they are not specialized in employee performance and performance evaluation and management. Therefore, we have to give that awareness. We have to give that knowledge. That is called training. Training personnel who do the performance evaluation of employee job performance of the organization. If we, in our performance evaluation policy, who should do the performance evaluation? There is a policy decision. We decide immediate superiors should do the performance evaluation. Then we have to train each and every immediate superiors of the employees how to do the performance evaluation, how to fill the performance evaluation forms, and how to follow the performance evaluation procedure to fill the form. This program called the training. Train evaluators. It is another very important step of the performance evaluation. Then the appraise. Appraise means evaluating. Now we are practically doing the employee performance evaluation. We are gathering information about the employee performance, where the evaluation of job performance of an employee is actually done by the evaluator. Evaluator is supposed to evaluate the actual job performance of the employee in order to achieve the objectives of the job performance evaluation. Appraise. Hope you are clear. Then the discuss PE results. After gathering information about the employee performance evaluation, now we have the set of data or information regarding employee performance. Okay. By using this information, the story is not enough. We have to discuss what are the reasons and what may be the causes to achieve this result. Sometimes maybe the positive gap between the performance targets and the actual performance. Sometimes it may be the negative gap. We have set the performance targets, but our employees cannot achieve that. We have to discuss with the employee, the relevant parties, and identify what are the causes, what are the reasons. Sometimes there may be some mistakes with our employee target, performance targets. Sometimes there are some causes related to our employees. We have to identify properly, otherwise we cannot improve our employee performance. We cannot manage. This discussion we call performance feedback interview. Performance feedback interview. We have to give the feedback to the relevant employees. අපි employee කෙනෙක්ගේ performance evaluate කරාට පස්සේ ළමයි ඒ තොරතුරු අපි ළඟ විතරක් තියාගෙන ඉඳලා හරියන්නේ නැහැ. අපි ඒ තොරතුරු දෙන්න ඕනේ අදාළ සේවකයා. එතකොට එයා ගාවත් යම්කිසි නිදහසට කරුණු ටිකක් තියෙන්න පුළුවන්. නැත්නම් එයා ගාවත් යම්කිසි තොරතුරු ටිකක් තියෙන්න පුළුවන්. මේ ෆෝම් එකෙන් ප්‍රොසීඩර් එකෙන් කව වෙච්ච නැති අපිට මෙන්න මේ වගේ හේතු සාධක නිසා performance evaluate performance target වලට යන්න බැරි. සමහර වෙලාවට පුළුවන් වුණත් මීට වඩා හොඳ performance වලට යන්න පුළුවන්. මෙන්න මේ වෙනස්කම් කරොත් කියලා ඒගොල්ලෝ ගාව අදහසක් තියෙනවා. They have the hands-on experience about the performance. That is very important for the management. With that discussion, we can collect further information. There are several types of performance evaluation discussion. We'll discuss in our next few lessons. The ninth one, make decisions and store. This information is very important. Therefore, we have to maintain proper documentation part as the performance evaluation. Discussion should be taken by the respective authority for the various purposes of the performance evaluation. After discussion, now we have the completed performance evaluation forms. These performance evaluation forms, these performance evaluation data have some informative uses, some development uses, some administrative usefulness. To use this information, we have to store. We have to secure this information. It is very important. The last one, review and renewal. After considering this information, we can revisit our employee performance management program. And if we need any changes, we can renewal this performance evaluation process. That's all about the performance evaluation models. Under the performance evaluation models, we have discussed two main models, Armstrong 2006 model and Professor Upath 2002 model. With these two models, we have covered steps of performance or stages of performance management cycle presented by Armstrong 2006, and the main activities in relation to the performance management cycle and the steps of systematic process of performance evaluation of the performance evaluation model presented by Senior Professor Upath. Our next few sessions are based on the second model we have discussed today. In detail discussion will be going on this performance evaluation and management model presented by the Professor Upath. If you have any questions, now you can ask. These are the review questions. I have uploaded my handouts to the LMS. You can download it and answer these questions. Hope your tutorial class will be started from this week. Thank you very much for coming to